Hi everyone, it's Mrs. Martinez with Martinez Art Lab. Today we are going to work on creating an emoji in Google Drawings. And the first thing we'll do is double click on Untitled Drawing. You will write your first and last name and then write the name of the project. And this project is an emoji. So we all know what an emoji is. We all use emojis. Maybe Mrs. Martinez does a little bit more than others because I think they're pretty funny. But today we're going to make an emoji, and we are not going to make one that we've seen before. So I want you to get creative and create your own emoji. Now, in order to create your own emoji, I want you to think of a few things. You can think of a famous artist, a famous musician, a famous actor or actress, or just a famous person, somebody maybe in politics or maybe somebody in anybody famous that you can think of, okay? The one caution I want to give you is you do want to make sure that it's school appropriate. So choose wisely if you're choosing an artist or a musician or an actor or actress. Keep those choices in mind. Now, to get started, we are going to first start with a circle. We can eventually change this circle and alter the shapes or add or subtract things. But to get started, we'll click on shape and we will click on circle. Remember, when you're drawing a circle, you're going to hold down shift on your keyboard. So I'm holding down shift and I'm left clicking and dragging, and I'm still holding down shift. And what that shift does, and I'll release shift and my click and drag, shift makes sure that our circle stays in proportion. So first thing I'm going to do is change this blue color. I'm going to change it to transparent, and I can add a color or make the color whatever I want to when I'm ready to. The outline is pretty thin right now. I'm going to make it a little thicker so I can see it. So I'll click on my border weight and I'll click 4, and I'll just kind of click off to the side so we can see this. Now, remember our black select arrow moves our objects around. So I have to click on it once it's selected, and I see this kind of compass shaped arrows. I can click and drag to get it where I want it. I have it centered right now. Doesn't necessarily need to be. In fact, I might need to move it around, especially if I'm going to be adding things to my emoji. In fact, I'm going to select it and I'm going to make it just a little bit smaller because I'm going to work on a artist emoji, and I want to make sure that I have room to add my hair and all the details. So I'll go to the corner and I'll left click and drag, holding down shift, of course, to keep it in proportion, and then I'll release. And this is about the size that I want. So now I'm gonna keep this on there, and I'm gonna do a little trick here. So I'm gonna bring a picture in of the artist that I want. I'm just gonna kind of put it to the side over here. So I'll go search the web, and I'm going to search for Frida Kahlo. She's one of the artists. There we go. So I'll use this portrait. So all I did was click on the image that I wanted, and now it's here. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. I'm just going to move it to the side. I'll delete that later, but now it's here, so I can use that for my inspiration while I am making my emoji here. So first thing I'm going to do is add her eyes. Her eyes are very, very relevant. Eyes are so, that's kind of how we know that it's Frida Kahlo. I'm going to start with those. So I'm going to go to my shape tool and I'm going to choose, let's find some good shapes for eyes. If I can't find the shapes that I want, I might need to draw shapes in. Let me look here. And it looks like, start with a circle. And let's see, I'm just going to left click and drag. I've made kind of an oval shape. Let's see how much I can squish it to look like eyes. And because this is an emoji, it doesn't need to be perfect, right? I've got kind of a cartoony look on this. So I've got the shape-ish of one eye. So I'm going to copy that eye, and then I'm going to click off to the side, and I'm going to click paste. So now I've got two eyes, and I can put them right next to each other. I'm going to select both by holding down Shift and clicking my second object. I want them both to be transparent, and I'm going to take that outline, just make it a little thicker. I'm going to take the outlines away completely when I'm all done, but right now while I'm working, it's really important that I have them. So I'm making these shapes, and I'm using the shapes because, again, I want them to be cartoony. So in order to look as if they are a cartoon, I'm going to leave them as these shapes rather than drawing something myself. So I'm going to copy just using my keyboard and then paste. And you can copy and paste going up to edit just like I showed you earlier. Either way will work. So now I've got two eyes, and now I need to draw the pupils on my eyes, so I'm going to make them a little bit smaller. And now it's getting pretty silly because I definitely, I'm going to copy it and then paste it. So I have the same eye over here. So now it's getting pretty silly the way it looks. It's definitely looking cartoony, right? I will draw my lips because there's really no shapes that I can use to draw my lips. So I clicked my line tool and I click this arrow drop down, and I'm going to click curve. Every click that I make will make a line and will move my line. My first click and my last click need to end up in the same spot. So I'll show an example off to the side. Click, 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 click. Okay, it's really important that I have an enclosed shape, so my first and last click have to be the same spot, because if they are not, what will happen is this: click, 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 click. Now I do not have an enclosed shape. You see how that first and last line are not ending in the same spot? I don't want that because I won't be able to use my fill colors correctly, and it just won't look right. So I'm going to click my undo arrow, take that away. I also want to undo that. And now I'm going to use this curve tool to come over here and draw my mouth on my Frida Kahlo emoji. So I clicked once, click, 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 click. Okay? I'm going to leave my mouth like that. It looks kind of crazy, and I kind of like it because this is, again, my very cartoon-like emoji. You notice I left all the blue on. I can change those colors when I need to. I'm also going to add some line detail when I'm all done and all my colors are added, so I'll add her lip lines right there. But for now, I'm going to leave it be. I'm not going to add ears, but I am going to add earrings. So Frida Kahlo was really known for, she had these great earrings and all this great fancy jewelry, and a lot of times she had flowers in her hair. So I'm going to add some flowers to the top of my emoji, kind of like a flower headband, and I'm also going to add earrings, and then I will add her nose and her eyebrows in. So let me go ahead and use some shapes to add earrings in for her. I'm just going to use some cool shapes here. And I'm going to go right above this circle, and as soon as I see that cursor change, I'm going to left click and drag. And what that does is allow me to just move the direction of my shape. So this is the first shape I'll use. I'm actually going to change the color right now. So I'm going to go back to my fill color. I will change the color to kind of a golden color. And then I'm going to copy that and paste. So I've got the same earrings, but now I need to move that. So as soon as I see my cursor change from this to this, I can left click and drag and move this. So my earrings aren't going to be exactly the same, but they're the same shapes, and they're kind of both leaning in there. Now, I'll move them just a little bit here. I'm going to add some more shapes in here to make my earrings a little bit more elaborate. So here's one shape. And then I'm going to copy that and paste it, and I'm going to bring it right over here. Okay, now I've got the start of my earrings, but like I told you, she had fancy stuff. So I'm going to go back to my shapes, and I'm going to, let's see what I want to add. I think I'm just going to put another triangle, or a triangle in the diamonds. And just move it to balance it out. And then we might just leave it like that. I'll change that color to purple. I'll copy it and paste it. And now I'll bring it back over to my other shape here. Okay, so she's got some fancy earrings going on. I could add a lot more detail to make these better, but for this tutorial, I'm not going to add crazy detail because I want to show you and then let you get started. Okay, and just a reminder, when I'm working on this tutorial, like always, you can pause this, you can rewind it, you can watch this 50 times if you need to. It is here for you. Okay, now I'm going to add in her eyebrows. I'm going to look and see if there's a shape, but her eyebrows, you can see, are very prevalent in her expression. So I am probably going to draw them in, and I will go back and use my curve tool. Click, 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 click. So there's one eyebrow. However, Frida Kahlo is known for her unibrow. So I'm going to click, 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 click. Okay? And then I can change the color of these, but I can also move them a little bit closer to each other so we can see, and now we can start to see and notice that it's Frida Kahlo a little bit more. I'm just moving the direction of these, her eyebrows real quick. Alright, now they're pretty balanced out. Excuse me. I'm going to delete her mouth. I'm actually going to draw her mouth using that curve tool. I'm going to draw in two sections. So I'm going to click, 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 click. Okay, so I've got the top of her mouth. Now I'm going to draw the bottom of her mouth. I'm liking this a little bit better. So I'm going to click, 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 click. Okay, so I like that mouth on my emoji a lot better than the first one. So I'm going to leave it that way. I'll change colors in a second. And now I'm going to add her nose on here. So the way I'm going to do her nose, let's see if I want to do shapes or if I want to hand draw her nose. I'm going to hand draw her nose. So I'll click on the curve tool and I will click, 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 click. Okay, so now I've got her nose on here. Because I hand drew everything for the most part, now her eyes are kind of throwing me off. So I'm going to use my selection tool and I'm going to select those. I'm going to delete them. I'm going to select and I'm just clicking delete on my computer. Now I need to hand draw some eyes in because I can't just have random pupils hanging out here, right? So I'm going to click, 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 click. Okay, now the problem is that is on top of the eyes that I drew. I'm going to use my selection tool and I'm going to click arrange, order, and send to back. Now my eye is in the background. A couple things. I can move it so it fits my eyeballs that I drew. So now it's a perfect shape. I'm going to select it one more time. Select it because now, even though it's transparent, this circle is in front. So when I try and select that, it's selecting the circle. So if that ever happens to you, select it and go to arrange, order, send to back. Not send backwards, send to back. Okay? So now that circle is in the very back and I can click on my eye. I'm going to copy that and I'm going to paste it. So I have two eyes, except it's the wrong direction, right? So to get the right direction, I'm just going to go to one of my boxes. I'm going to left click and move it all the way. I'm just dragging till it's the same direction. And then I can move it right back to where I need it. Okay? And again, I'm going to click it, arrange, order, set to back. So I've got most of her done. Now I just need to add some flowers to the top of her emoji head. Okay, I'm actually going to hand draw them. Again, you can use shapes. You don't have to hand draw, but I want to show you this option. And I also, since I've hand drawn most of this, I just like the look of the hand drawn better. So I'm going to click, 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 click. And I'm just actually going to draw a few shapes, and then I'm going to alter the colors and add some line details at the end. So click, 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 and click, 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 click. Okay, so those are the flowers I'm going to leave. If you can believe they're going to be my flowers, I'm going to go to my select tool. I'm going to turn this a little bit because it was touching her eyebrow. It was throwing me off a little bit. Okay, so now I've got her eyes. I'm going to move this one a bit. I've got everything drawn that I want to have drawn. I can just kind of move things around as I need to. There we go. There we go. Okay, so this is my emoji Frida Kahlo. Now I need to make her change the colors, okay? With your emoji, you can use realistic colors or you can use unrealistic colors. So by realistic colors, I mean you're using her skin tone and her hair colors, the correct colors that you would see her in real life. By unrealistic, I mean we're going to take her and make her face purple and her eyes yellow or whatever. I'm going to make her semi-realistic colors. So right now I've got the circle selected. So that's the background. That's her skin tone, right? Skin tone is really important when you're in Google Drawing because when I click fill color, you can see there's not really any good skin tone colors. So I'm going to have to make one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the closest color I think, and I'm going to select this. So this is actually a really dark yellow, and I lost one of my eyes. I'll bring that back in a second. But this is really a dark yellow. Frida Kahlo is Mexican and her skin is darker, but it's definitely not dark yellow. So I need to change this color. Before I do that, I lost my eye there when I added my color. Remember, if that ever happens, go to Arrange, Order, Send to Back. And now my eye is back. Okay, so my circle's still selected. I'm going to click on that Fill Bucket tool. I picked the color that was closest to her, even though it's totally not at all her skin tone. I'm going to click Custom. And now what's happened is I have a box where I can create my own skin tone color. So I could change the hue down here by dragging this circle, but my color is in here. So I'm going to left click and drag until I see a color that's much closer to her skin tone, okay? The new color is showing up here, and I'm searching for the color on here. Again, this is as close as I can get to her skin tone. It's not going to be perfection, but it's going to be pretty close, okay? I don't want it too yellow. Let's see. This is going to be a lot better than it was. I know that. Okay, so I'm going to click OK. So this is a decent skin tone, I guess, for her. I should really work harder and get it closer to her actual skin tone, but it's a lot better than that dark yellow that I have. I'm going to leave this skin tone for our tutorial, and I'm going to start adding the rest of her coloring. So her nose is the same skin tone, but I'm going to need to make it a little bit darker. So I want to use the same color, but now I'm going to click and do custom again, and I'm going to make it just a little bit lighter. click OK. I needed to make it lighter so that we can see it, right? I think I need to make it even a little bit lighter so that way when I take away those black outlines, because remember, I'm going to be doing that, you can still see her nose, okay? And now, same with her lips. I'm actually going to put a really light pink on there, but that's kind of a fake looking pink. So I'm going to change that pink and create a custom color and make it a little bit more realistic in terms of, there we go, let's see. It's a little bit better. Not the best, but better. Okay, so I'm going to leave that as her lips. Now I'm going to go up to her eyebrows. She definitely has a really dark brown, hair almost black. So I picked that close color again, click custom, and I'm going to make that a really, really deep brown. I'll leave it right there. This is, I feel, where Google is lacking in, Google Drawing is lacking is in our custom colors. I would really like to see some skin tone colors in Google Drawing options. But I do also like giving you the opportunities to mix your own colors and making sure we're getting right skin tones, right hair colors. So that's one good part about mixing these colors. I'm going to make her eye color. I'm going to choose this brown, but then I'm going to make a custom color and make it a lot darker. Okay. Is that really deep brown eyes? And then we're going to choose that same dark brown. And then we're going to choose black for her pupils. So now we're getting there. We're starting to see a person, right? The background of her eyes is going to be white. And now we can start adding some flowers. I'm going to choose some really bright flowers. So let's choose a bright yellow, a bright blue, and a bright... Okay. I'm going to stretch these out just a little bit. So we've got some beautiful, beautiful, beautiful flowers. Okay. So I talked about adding some details. When I go to add these details, I'm going to use the line tool to do it. Now, I don't want to have to accidentally delete any of my line tools. So I know I need to remove all these black outlines. So right now I'm going to left click, drag over my entire picture. And I've selected everything by doing that. I'm going to go to border color, click it. Right now it's black, but I'm going to make it transparent. And I'm going to click off to the side. So what I did was take away those outlines, and now I really feel like I see my drawing, okay? I see a Frida Kahlo emoji right now, okay? Now I'm going to start adding some details. I'm adding those details in lines. That's why it was really important I removed my black outlines first. So I'm going to choose the scribble tool. It's exactly how it sounds. Wherever I make marks, it's going to show. So I'm going to kind of just make some marks in here. Those are going to be my flower marks. I'm just kind of scribbling in here to make my flowers. I would like to see a lot more effort from you all when you're making your emojis. So there's some details on my flowers, and then I'm going to, I was going to add details to the lips, but I don't really feel like I need to because I spaced out those shapes just enough. I'll select one shape and bring it down just a little bit. So we've got a little bit of space between her lips and bring that up just a little bit. Because remember, it's an emoji. It's supposed to look cartoonish. And here's my Frida Kahlo emoji. So again, before I'm done, I'm going to select the picture and I'm going to click delete, and I've got my project done. So this is what I'm going to turn in. When you are working on your emoji, you can feel free to send me the picture as well if you worked off a picture, just because I'm curious. I like to see them. I might not know everybody, right? I want you to have fun making your emojis, and remember, keep it school appropriate.